this is a writer downer, right? You can't chat GPT experience. There's no way around it, right? You
Ooh.
cannot chat GPT experience. You got to put the
Yeah.
reps in some way, shape, or form. There's no shortcut to it.
What's up, my FY Fly folks out there? How y'all doing? I hope y'all doing all right. Welcome to the FY Fly podcast. My name is Hassan Thomas, aka the kid that did and the man that can, baby. And today, we're going to be chopping it up with speaker, expert marketer, and AI enthusiast, Mr. John Mendez. How are you, brother? How are you?
Man, I'm excited for this, man. We just hopped on my show last week, and now I'm chopping it up with you again the week after. I'm excited to have a dope conversation and really bring some value to your audience, man.
You already know, man. That's why we like specifically aligned when we met, bro. Because I could just tell our whole goal is not about us. It's about what people can learn from our stories, what people can learn from this information that we've, built within these last few years, man. So I'm super happy to have you here because I really want to talk about this AI, bro. It's all the talk in the world, ChatGPT, all these different AI platforms. So let's go ahead and dive straight in. So I want to know, like, when did you first notice that AI was going to be something big, something major that could change a lot of people's lives? Like, when did you first notice that?
Yeah, so for a little bit of context to the audience, there's a little story behind it. I had almost like a kind of coming to God moment where I was just like a little quarter life crisis or a fifth life crisis. I'm only just turned 22. So I had a little mini crisis. I'm just like, yo, I'm in real estate and not selling no houses, right? I was teaching social media classes for free. I've had like imposter syndrome. I ain't feel worthy of charging, right? I was going to try and turn it into the business, but that ain't work out. And then I had my podcast from like September, August of last year to like December. My downloads were going down month after month, despite me posting about an episode a week, right? And I was just like, man, what's going on? I'm working at this restaurant job too. I'm barely making any money. And around January, I started hopping on podcasts left and right. I got interviewed a little over 100 times between January and March this year, 2020.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
One of the guys that interviewed me, he had a mastermind call. So I joined a mastermind, right? And in there, he had a course on how to use ChatGPT. And then at the end of it, he revealed himself creating a course with ChatGPT. And I'm like, nah, like this is meta. Like you're using the thing that you're teaching me on to create the thing that you're teaching me on and screen recording like behind the scenes of you creating a thing. I'm like, yo, this don't even make any sense. Because at that time, I was just using ChatGPT for my podcast, show titles, and the show notes. Nothing crazy. I just be like, hey, I made an episode. I interviewed this one guy and we talked about this topic. Just give me a quick couple title variations. And that's the extent that I was using ChatGPT. I seen that, and then from there, 2 weeks after joining that mastermind, I ended up creating a presentation on how to use ChatGPT, a webinar, because that's what I was used to teaching. It was 20 spots at $197, and within 24 hours, I was sold out. And that's when I realized, like, yo, I just made more money after that webinar than 3.5 months of working at the restaurant. I'm like, yeah, like there's something here. I've been playing the game wrong this whole time. There's something here with this AI stuff. And so that's what kind of made me realize, like, all right, I need to take advantage of this opportunity while it's still fresh and early.
Yeah. Being the first one on to, first one, was it like first, what's the first invention bias or
early movers?
Early
adopter advantage.
The early adopters or early movers advantage, being the first one into a new area and just being able to reap all the benefits. But I want to jump back to your story, bro, how you first initially, realized that you could impart value on other people. And what I mean by that is you were literally in a room full of big time successful realtors, real estate agents, but you realized you had something that they didn't. You realized that you could be a solution to their problems. So kind of first dive into how did you learn and become an expert with AI? And then talk about like the process of providing that value to everyone else, providing that value to those realtors that you talked about. So first, how did you become an expert in ChatGPT and AI and things of that nature?
I had a lot of free time. And one thing I always say, right, this is a writer downer, right? You can't chat GPT experience. There's no way around it, right? You cannot chat GPT experience. You got to put the reps in some way, shape, or form. There's no shortcut to it, right? I put my reps in, just trying to figure out how to use that joint, getting creative. I'll be like, damn, like one time my boy pulled up on me. He's in my course. He's a realtor from out in Syracuse. He was like, yo, John, I want ChatGPT, but I want it to help me grow my business, right? How can I use it as like a business partner? But I also want to train specifically on the stuff they teach on Keller Williams. I was like, bro, listen, no problem. And this is off the top when I was on the phone with him. I was like, so what you want to do is the MREA book is a big Keller Williams book, right? Millionaire and Real Estate Agent book. And I was like, get the ebook, download it as a PDF. Then what you want to do from there is go into ChatGPT 4, access the plugins, download one of the PDF analyzer plugins. From there, install that into your ChatGPT, upload the PDF of the ebook, and then tell ChatGPT to train you based off of the models in that book, right? So instead of hiring MAPS coaching, which is like the Keller Williams coaching, and paying $1,000 a month or something like that, you could just get the book, upload that into ChatGPT, and then start using that to coach yourself. And now you don't have to pay. And ChatGPT Plus is $20 a month. I just saved him multiply that by 12. I just saved him like freaking 12 bands or something like that.
So real quick, bro, I want everybody to listen to what John just said. So instead of, his friend having to go out and pay a coach, he bought the ebook, which the coach was probably going to teach him the same lessons from that book. He bought the ebook, implemented and uploaded it to ChatGPT, and gave it like a prompt to teach him and train him based on that book that he, implemented into or uploaded to ChatGPT. So I just want everybody to realize that and use that for your own situation, for your own scenario. So if you want to learn a business, if you want to learn a new skill, you could easily replicate that same thing, that same scenario, and put it in for your situation, right, John?
No, 100%, yeah.
Got you. Playing around and just trying different things. And I think that's what we can do with us. And not even just being young, but having the passion for whatever, your main goal, your main why is. If you really love it, you're going to spend time doing it. So if you spend the time, you might as well try all different ways to do the same thing and then figure out that certain way that works best for you. So sticking on the ChatGPT wave, if you were back in college, how would you use ChatGPT to your advantage?
Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know, I left college to get into entrepreneurship, to get my real estate license. Now, left, it was 2021, spring 2021, to get into my real estate license. And so let's say in an imaginary world, I decided to go back, right? And now I'm in college. School became pretty easy to me before I dropped out. I would have been using that joint to start up a business, create some either kind of tutoring thing or like where I could help people out, but it's really just ChatGPT. Like now, there's this one tool, it's called creator.io, and you can create custom chatbots. So let's say I was like really, really tough at math. Like I was elite at math, right? Or let's say I was really elite at English. And I already took like English, let's say English 1100, right? Random class, right? I would study everything that I know in there, and then I would train the ChatGPT on that, right? And to have it ask me questions. I would put it in a CSV file and then upload it into Creator.io. And then from there, I would create like a custom chatbot for that specific topic or subject and have people pay for access. And the chatbot is already trained on me, right? So I wouldn't have to talk to people with the chatbot. I just set it up one time and then have people go to the chatbot for help. And it already is trained on all the answers that I know. And so I don't have to keep on re-going. Let's say they ask a question that could stump it. I can just go in and in the CSV file, type up that question, answer it, and then re-upload it so I can train it for the next time, right? And then keep on doing that every time it gets stumped, so it keeps on updating and upgrading, right? And I would run up a bag if I was in college bro.
Now you're just spitting these ideas just straight off the dome. So kind of break down what does it look like further to train ChatGPT, because everybody's T is not the same, right? So what does it look like to train your ChatGPT?
Yeah, so good question, bro. Like there's mad different ways to go about doing it. I'm gonna start off on a free plan. Just like this is what I would do, right? Because you can't create custom GPT models unless you're on the pay plan. So if you're on the free plan, right, which is as I said, free 99, right? What I would do, right, is there's this section called custom instructions, bro. And in custom instructions, it's in the settings on the bottom left-hand corner if you're on the computer, on the desktop version. And you click on there, you go to custom instructions, it'll pop up 2 boxes, right? So it's hard to see if you're just listening to it, but just imagine 2 boxes, right? The top box is for you to train ChatGPT on who you are, right? The bottom box is for you to train ChatGPT on how you want it to generate responses, right? So now remember that, right? Pause. Now from there, what I would do, right, is I would start a new conversation within ChatGPT, right? Start fresh, clean slate, and I would say, hey, I want you to interview me, and I want you to, so that you can get a deep understanding as to who I am, my mission, what I do, and my core values, right? And you'll start off by you asking me questions one at a time, and then me responding, and then based off of that question, you'll ask either a clarifying question for more to follow up, or we'll proceed to the next question. And then I'll just go back and forth with ChatGPT, having ChatGPT interview me and just get to know me. Now, here's the part that sucks, right? Here's the part that sucks, though. You would have to do that every single time you set up a new conversation, right? Every single time. We don't got time for that, bro. I'm not trying to get interviewed literally every second. I just need a little something, right? So what I would do is then I would take that one step further, right? And after you're done with ChatGPT and like it can't come up more questions or you just don't feel like proceeding, right? I would say, all right, now summarize all my responses in 1,500 characters or less, right? Summarize the responses in 1,500 characters. Make sure it's characters, not words. 1,500 characters or less. Copy that, and then go back into the settings where custom instruction was, and then paste that into the top box, right?
That's the gem.
Right.
Got you. Okay.
That's the gem.
Okay.
And now, every time, and then right underneath that in the bottom box, you can skip it. I don't have too much put in there. I just say make sure to write very clearly, right in the 3rd grade reading level, right? Because most people, I think like the U.S. average reading level is like 5th grade or something like that. So, and then I say be punchy. That's just me. I like ChatGPT to generate like quick responses and not like some crazy paragraph. That's my just personal preference. But then after that, the second gem, right, is there's a little button that you got to click. It says enable for all new chats or something like that. Make sure that's turned on and then hit save. And then you're good. And then every time you have start up a new ChatGPT conversation, it already have a little bit of info as to who you are and what you do. So now you don't have to spend so much time like training it, giving it context and trying to tell it, oh, I got this going on. It's like already has a little basis as to what you do. So it can now start catering and personalizing its responses to what you wanted to put out.
Man, you are giving us the ChatGPT master for the free, man. I'm sure people be charging. I'm sure you be charging people for this game. So everybody listening, make sure that you're really tapping in with this episode and using some of these gems that he's dropping here today. Cause I'm learning from you, man. I'm sure my audience is too. You know, from this platform sounds amazing, bro. And even to the point where my girlfriend, she doesn't use Google anymore. She goes to ChatGPT, and I'm like, I still feel like, in my opinion, I still feel like Google is quicker and more convenient, but she uses ChatGPT like Google. So do you ever see ChatGPT replacing Google, or like, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
I think there's so long term, man, I can't say you can beat Google, man. The way they got the game in a chokehold is crazy, honestly, bro. And so with ChatGPT, for anyone that doesn't kind of understand how it works, is that it's trained on like a whole bunch of information, right? They got like 1 trillion points of bits of information that are fed into ChatGPT, and that's how it knows so much things about so many different things, right? And so as it continues to grow and evolve, it'll be fed on more information and have a larger set of data, right? But like, you're always going to be one step behind. Like, how do you keep up with Google, who has, like, if you look up the rankings for top, like, most visited websites, Google has more combined visits than like the next 10 websites put together, right? It's crazy. put together,
Yeah.
right? And so then to get even crazier, the second most visited website is YouTube, which is also owned by Google, right? So it's like
Yeah.
now YouTube been out for a minute. Google has also been out for a minute. Now they got all this backlog of information and data and research and analytics that they can go through. On top of that, right? People are still actively using it every single day, putting new inquiries, putting in new websites, putting new information. So
Yeah.
it has all of that it has on. And on top of that, they just have way more money. It's one of those big bank take little banks moments, right? Like they just got so much money. Like we're working on Google Bard right now, and right now, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really used it all that much. But like
Google,
if Google really
what'd
said
you
like
say?
Google Bard, it's like a AI, it's like a ChatGPT from Google, right?
So
And
Google already came out with something to rival
yeah, they've been had something out.
ChatGPT?
They've been had
Wow.
something out. It's not all that great, but think about it. If Google really makes this one of their main incentives and one of their main initiatives for the year, let's say next year, now on top of that, they already have everybody and their mom using the Google Suite, which is like Google Docs, PowerPoint slides, right? Google Drive, right? All that information. You short term, it might be a little convenient to use ChatGPT, but long term, I don't really see anyone out unless ChatGPT like crumbles from the inside. Man, I don't see ChatGPT ever replacing Google.
Got you. Just too powerful, too strong, been around too
Yeah.
long. And so yeah, that makes sense. So would you say that at this point, as far as AI, the things that are out there, would you say ChatGPT is the most useful, or are there other platforms that you're using personally that you've seen has been
Yeah.
helpful to you and others in the community?
Nah, 100%. Like ChatGPT definitely has been the most useful for me, just because the different use cases for it. Like I used it to help me plan events. I used it to help writing page, like a write copy on my websites and my landing pages. I helped it to write emails. It helped me to create video scripts and show notes and titles and all that stuff. Like it didn't help me with such a wide range of things. On top of that, it helped me grow my business. Like for like I made a business out of teaching AI, so it's like it helped me do that. But in
Yeah.
terms of other ones that I use, for me personally, so I mainly stick to like on the marketing side of things. But there's one that I used to use called video.ai. Now, this
Okay.
one, if you create content, it'll take your long form videos and turn it into clips for you. Right. So
Wow.
that's one that's super convenient to use. I stopped using that one because the platform we're on right now, Riverside FM, now has its own clips feature that you can generate. And so I had my video editor test out Video AI and Riverside. And from what he found is that Video AI generates more clips, but the quality of clips Riverside produces better. And because I'm already a podcast host, we're both podcast hosts, I was like, well, I pay another $30 a month for this service when Riverside has one built in. Right. So now I'm using mainly Riverside. Descript is a video editing tool.
Love
Descript is
Descript.
like
Love
goated, like Hall
Descript.
of Fame. Yeah, Hall of Fame Descript, bro. 99 overall. They were really they really, put the industry on to like the new wave of video editing, because before, let's say you had a video and there's a part you wanted to cut out, you got to clip it at the beginning, and then you got to find the part at the end, you got to clip that, and then you got to delete that, and then you got to take the two segments, right, and then you got to push them together, so like, and you got to make sure they overlap like perfectly so it doesn't sound like too awkward of a gap, right? And now with Descript, you can just like it'll write up the transcript for your video. Let's say there's a part you don't like, or you had a mistake, you just highlight it like you're in a Google Word or like a Google Doc, and
And
then
just
delete
delete that
backspace out.
shit.
Yeah, and it makes the whole process easier. You can cut out, the all the awkward noises and some of the. I don't cut out all of the ums and the uhs, but you can cut out a decent amount of them. You can also have this one feature called AI eye tracker. So I could be reading a script, looking over here, and like AI eye tracker will make it look like I'm looking at the camera, right? Or at least it make
Bro,
it look like my eyes are looking at
what?
the camera. Yeah, Descript has that. It had it for a minute, like, and there's so many other ways, like,
Yeah, it's
but Descript
crazy.
is a good one.
Facts, man. And we can't have you on FY Fly and not ask you our famous final question, brother. I'm gonna say two quotes, and I need you to let me know which one is more accurate in your opinion. All right, bet. Let's get it. Let's get it. So the first quote is "More money, more problems." Shout out to Biggie. And the second one is money can't buy happiness. Which one do you agree with most?
All right, so I agree with the first more, right?
The more
The
money, more
reason,
problems?
more money, more problem. Reason being, of course, I like the song, right? But for me, I agree with that because from what you find, it's like it never gets. Jim Rohn says, "I'll respond with a quote. Right? I'm a quote for quote type of guy, right?" Jim Rohn says, "Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills." Right?
Mm,
And so it never gets easier, and you start getting more money. You start getting. I wouldn't necessarily say like more problems. It's just different problems. Like the problems you swap out, like you're no longer worrying about
gotcha.
having to pay rent, but now you're worrying about having to pay taxes, right? Or something
Mm-hmm.
like it swaps out. So I wouldn't necessarily say like it's because if you have money now, a lot of the problem when you're poor and broke, like they start to kind of go away. But in replace, there's
Mm-hmm.
more problems, right? So
More
overall, I think you're like,
responsibilities, different
yeah,
problems, like you said.
exactly. So I think it still levels out in terms of like the amount of problems that we all have. It's just different ones.
I'm in full alignment. You already knew we was locked in before we even started this, so I think
Yeah.
this was great, bro. Definitely, definitely. Thank you for joining the FY Fly podcast. And if you have any final words, any final takeaways, go ahead, brother. And
Yeah,
also
I'm
let
gonna
them know
leave
where to
y'all with
reach you too. Let them know where to reach
no,
you too, bro.
100%. I'll let them know after I drop this last final gem. You feel me? Gotta end it with
Got to.
some philosophical gem right here, because you inspired me. You got my thoughts thinking, right? So I learned a little while ago, a little over a year ago, that there's a difference between goals and your purpose. Now, your goals is
Mm,
something that's quantifiable. It's something that you can actually tangibly reach, right? And your purpose, what makes a difference, is that your purpose is something that transcends beyond you, right? It's something that you will never be able to accomplish in this lifetime. So think about it like this, right? You mentioned God too, right? Moses never made it to the promised land. But if he never took the people out of Egypt and let them out of Egypt, they would have never got there in the first place. So the
mm-hmm.
idea of having a purpose, right, is knowing that no matter like how many trees you plant, like you'll probably never be able to enjoy the, sit in the shadows of the trees you plant. You never be able to enjoy the fruits that come from it. And despite that, despite knowing that, you continue to plant the trees anyways for someone else to enjoy it later on. And so when you
Mm-hmm.
find something that's bigger than you, that's bigger than life itself, that's going to help you push through all the days that you don't want to do it. There's days that I'll just sleep in, or days that I'm not trying to do much, right? I got to reset and recharge. But for the most part, I know big picture, I'm on here for something much bigger than I am that I probably may never be able to enjoy. And I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay because it's not about me. It's about us, right? And so that's the
Facts.
final gem I'll leave everyone there. And if you're interested in learning how to build a wealthy, abundant life, make sure to check out the podcast at www.walk2wealth.com. Again, that's www.walk2wealth.com. And thanks again, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, we talked about a lot of gems today, but if y'all can take, one or two small gems that we talked about here and implement them today, I promise you those small habits will have large results over time. So again, John, thank you so much, bro. And our listeners, y'all already know what time it is. We need y'all to stay safe, stay invested, and stay FYI fly. We'll see y'all next week.